You might be wondering why we built this R34 Skyline, debuted it at the SEMA show, took it to GTR Festival, and never raced it. Well, the truth is, it's not completely ready. We still have an assortment of systems to complete on this car. We don't have a working Atessa all-wheel drive system, we don't have nitrous in the engine, we don't even have a fire suppression system installed yet. Completing these systems is critical to make an 8-second pass, which has always been our goal for this car. This nitrous system right here is going to bring our 1300 horsepower RB26 up to 1500 horsepower, helping us complete the 8-second pass. So we're going to be running a direct port injection system on our nitrous, which are these guys right here. So each one of these is going to go into its own intake runner on the intake manifold, and then we're going to use a distribution block right here to go from 1 nitrous line out to 6. That's what all these hard lines are going to be. We've got fittings to make it all fit. We've got our nitrous jets for sizing and power, and then of course we've got the rest of the system here to make it work. We've got nitrous solenoids, mounts, we've got lines that go from the nitrous bottles to the solenoids and make everything work. Step 1 is we got to get this intake manifold off. Here's the plan to get our Skyline on track. First, we're going to install the nitrous system. Second, we're going to install a fire suppression system in the car. Third, we're going to get our all-wheel drive Atessa system working. Fourth, we're going to upgrade the oiling system. And finally, we're going to dial in the suspension. This intake manifold is what diverts the air into each specific cylinder in the engine. Now, on most aftermarket manifolds, you have these little aluminum pads on the underside, and that is for nitrous foggers. So we're going to drill a hole, tap this, and then we're going to put each one of these guys into each single cylinder, and that's what's going to give the engine nitrous. Get it going, baby, get it going. Now I need to make sure that the jet is oriented correctly. I'm gonna give her another full lap like that. Wow, pointing the engine. 1 down, 6 to go. 1 down, 5 to go. I said 6, I already got 1 done. There's 5 more. Foggers are installed, so now we're going to install our nitrous jets. That's what this guy is. The bigger the jet, the more nitrous will enter the engine. This is how you set up if it's like a 75 shot or a 150 shot or a 200 shot or a 300 shot. So we've got it set up for about a 250 shot. Now we're going to start plumbing our hard lines. So I've got one big roll and we're going to make them like this. All right, let's install these bad boys. So we've got our hard line here. I've got tube nuts on it, so this is literally just going to thread on, and of course the end is flared, so we're just going to get these on our foggers here. One end there, and then the other end is going to go onto our nitrous manifold. Get these all nice and tight. Once we have all 6, we're done. Going back on the car. Okay, so once we get the intake manifold back on the car, now we can start figuring out where we're gonna mount our nitrous solenoid. That's over here. So this guy is what actually allows nitrous to go into the nitrous manifold through the jet. So this is essentially a solenoid. So you have nitrous going in here. This stops it. When you add voltage to this, it'll open it up and allow nitrous to flow. So we're gonna put this on our little nitrous manifold under here. And now I get to figure out where I want to mount our solenoid. That's what's next. Nitrous solenoid, going, baby. I've got our nitrous system completely buttoned up. I've rerouted all of the purges that Ricky set up just for show. Now they're actually purging our nitrous in the engine. Let's try it out.
You guys aren't gonna believe this, but we are giving away our Mitsubishi Eclipse plus $20,000 cash, and the sweepstakes is live right now. Head on over to throtl.com. Every dollar you spend on car parts or merchandise such as this t-shirt is gonna give you an automatic entry to win our epic Mitsubishi Eclipse. This thing is fully built with a race engine, transmission, wide-bodied, forged wheels, Willwood brakes. The whole interior has been redone. It has nitrous, has a chassis mount wing. It is fully dialed. And we have 100 of these Jada Toys 1/24th scale Eclipses that the whole throtl team's gonna sign, and they will be available on the site. But when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, look at these things. They have movie cars, even the R34 that we recently built for the SEMA show. They even replicate cars like the RWV Porsches, old movie cars like the Batmobile, and these cool custom cars like this wicked HKS R34 here, the HKS FD. So many cool cars. On top of that, we have some really cool projects coming up with Jada Toys this year. So click the link in the video description down below and secure your autographed version of the Mitsubishi Eclipse today.
Next up, we're gonna be installing this, which is a fire suppression system by Sparco. This is a complete kit. We've got sprayers, nozzles, we've got cables to run everything. All we have to do is install it in the car, and we've got aluminum hardline. Put it all together. So what we're gonna do is start dropping these jets in the engine bay. We're gonna have one at the turbo, one at the back of the manifold, one kind of facing the intake manifold from the firewall, one directly facing the fuel system, and then another one down kind of where the fuel pumps and all that stuff are. And then we've got two for the driver. So one in the footwell, and this is gonna go in the passenger well ECU area. All we have to do is mount these guys with some safety wire, then run our aluminum lines, mount the tank, and then install our pole cables. Let's do it. Fire suppression system in the engine bay is complete. I've got a fogger down there pointing at the bottom of the turbo and that side of the engine. We've got one back there pointing at the exhaust manifold and the back of the turbo and the exhaust. One pointing at the fuel system here. One pointing at the fuel system and under the inlet manifold over here. Then I've got one here shooting this way. So that's done. Let's move on to the interior. I've got the dashboard out. Now we're gonna run our two nozzles against the firewall right here. So I'm gonna have one pointing down, and then I'll have one over here facing the driver, shooting that way. Let's do it. All right, our interior nozzles are complete. Now we're gonna mount the fire extinguisher, and I think we're gonna put it right about here. Fire extinguisher bottle is mounted, so now we have to do two pole cables. I'm gonna put one right here in between the dashboard and the door card. That's gonna be a really good spot for the driver to reach it, and it allows somebody outside of the car to reach in and grab it instead of putting it in like the center console. And then I believe we're gonna put the other one in the front corner of the hood right there, just so we have one on each side of the car. If something were to happen, you can run up to either side of the car, pull the extinguisher, and put the fire out. All right, I just whipped up this bracket for the pole cable. Let's get the cable installed. All right, all we have left is to attach our cables to the fire extinguisher themselves, run our cables in, get everything tight, and then the fire suppression system is done. There we go, we're all cabled up. Fire suppression system is complete.
I've been working on our Atessa system. If you guys know Skyline GTRs, you know they have all-wheel drive at times, and the Atessa system is what controls that. So our homie over at Frenchie's, Kevin, sent us his Atessa line upgrade kit. Now, unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to use this because we've moved our Atessa pump system right here underneath the rear bumper. So it is in a good location for us. The reason why we put it here is because typically on an R32, it's above the differential. R33 and 34, it is in a different location, somewhat similar to where we have it here on this side of the car. But in order to make the connection between the transmission and that system, we need to get a longer line. So I ran over to our local hose and fitting place this morning, got a new line that's appropriate length, and we're gonna go ahead and install that today. So it's gonna go from the back of the transmission under the car to these pumps here. And then we've got to plumb two lines that go from the reservoir, which I've already mounted in the trunk here. This is an R32 Atessa system reservoir, and the lines conveniently go out through the side of the trunk there and reach down underneath to the pump system itself. Now you guys are probably asking, why did you guys use an R32 Atessa system? And the reason for that is because it's a little more analog and easier to control with the ECU. We can turn it on and off with the flip of a switch, so that when we're at the drag strip, we can do rear-wheel drive burnouts by just flicking a switch or holding down a paddle, and then we can release that and allow the car to go back to all-wheel drive. So now we just got to install all these lines, and we'll have a working system. We use a braided line down here, and this is a pressure line here that I got from the hydraulic store. So now we can put fluid in this guy, and we've got a complete system as soon as I put the line to the transmission. Aside from our wiring, which we have two harnesses here, this harness is for power ground. This harness is for the pressure sensor, which is here, and the actuator. And then we have one more little harness that is on the, this is the level sensor for the reservoir. So if it gets low level, sends a reading to the, I guess it's to the ECU and to the dash to tell you that it's low. But what's cool is this stuff all comes pretty close together. And Rywire was smart enough to put a flying lead on our chassis harness for us. So basically he's gonna make a connector that goes in there. We're gonna run those wires over to here, probably above the top. That'll plug in there, and the other one will plug in here. I test the system complete, baby.
Mickey asked me to help him weld up, what do you call this? A surge tank?
Yeah. Basically for the crankcase ventilation. So we only need one of these, so we're gonna have you weld on 2-16s.
So I'm gonna use my TIG skills, and we'll see if I can do a nice job. Everything is all welded up. I did the best job that I could. So that's done. The fitting is done, and Mickey's ready for the next step.
All right, now that Evan's got our tank all welded up, it's cooled off, I'm gonna go ahead and get it mounted back in the car, and we've got some -16 and -8 hose that is going to act as our vaporizer line that's gonna take the vapors outside the car, and then the -8 is gonna be a drain that's gonna go at the bottom of the car. So after each run, reach under the car, take the plug out, drain the tank, and be on to the next run. Tank's back in place. We've got our cap on this side. We've got our -16 line with a 130-degree fitting running the -16 out the bottom of the car. And we have our 8AN underneath. It's also going out the bottom of the car. All I need to do is put a wrench on this guy, tighten it up. We'll go underneath the car, get things shortened up and mounted, and the puke tank will be complete.
Now it is time to upgrade our Clearview filter housing. The one we have is much too big, and this is also intended to be run with another remote mount oil filter, and we just honestly don't have the space in this engine bay for that. Luckily, Clearview makes a smaller filter housing, which is what we got here. This thing also comes with a remote oil pump, which is really cool, which means whenever we service the oil filter or take any oil lines off, all we have to do is put a drill on this, spin it, it will pull oil pressure and pull oil from the sump and pump it to the engine and get everything primed. So when we start this up, we always have good oil pressure. Let's get this thing installed. I just whipped up a new mount for our Clearview filter. It's painted and completed, so let's get this thing together. We've got our line for the prime pump that Mickey made. We've got the prime pump, and of course, we're gonna be running a big boy Canon oil filter on this. Let's get this thing assembled. Our new Clearview is completely installed, and Brendan is going to be coming down. We need to shorten this oil line and then make an oil line for the primer, but other than that, it's completely finished. We've got good filtration on the engine now. Let's move on.
So today I actually have Brendan from Dime PSI back down here. This was the duo right here that did the all-nighter to get this car plumbed so we could make it to SEMA on time. Brendan came back because we've got a few lines we need to modify, but he brought his awesome touring van or sprinter van that he built out. Brendan has on board a full crimping tool so that you can make lines on the go. Cool, he just pulls up, and in these cabinets, he has fittings for days. These are his pro spec fittings. This is his new invention. If you didn't see our previous video where we plumbed the R34 with these pro specs, give Brendan from Dime PSI a call, especially if you're in Southern California. He can actually come to your workshop and make magic happen. All right, well, Brendan, Quinn, and I got the lines done. Just tossed the manifold back on temporarily just so we can get some lengths. But as you can see, our new Clearview filter set up here with the priming pump is all plumbed and ready to go. So our priming line is on. There's a dash 10 line. We've got our dash 12 feed and return there. And Brendan also brought us our caps for our quick release connectors, which is pretty cool. So when the fuel rails are off, we can pop caps into the lines so that they don't leak fuel and no debris gets inside of them. So that's really cool. And he also left us with caps for all of these lines as well as our oil tank lines. So we are all dimed out now. This car, plumbing wise, is pretty much done. Oh, we made one more line for the bubbler tank as well because we had to modify that before SEMA. So now everything matches, which is awesome. We're big on the matchy around here. So now it's time to move on. That's done. We want to give Brendan a huge thank you for coming down pretty much a holiday day to help us get this complete so we can get this thing to the track as soon as possible. All right, Tanner from OC Mobile Alignment came down today to help us get the alignment set up for our R34 drag car. Now, because this is a drag car, it needs special specifications for the shock settings, the toe, and the alignment. And so he's already hooked up his scales here, which is cool that we get to see sort of where we're at with this because we were targeting 3,000 pounds for this build. Everything is basically based off of the numbers that this car puts together, like the weight, the horsepower, the RPM, all that stuff, including the tire and wheel package that we have on here. It all works together to try to make a fast car. So today is going to be pretty telling. Already kind of looking over at the scale, and I think we did okay on the diet for the car. I think we're actually under where we wanted to be. Getting some tire pressure set now, and I'm going to let Tanner do his thing. Tanner's finished up the alignment, and believe it or not, we were actually pretty close. Quinn nailed it with some of the specs on this thing. We kind of eyeballed it, took some measurements. The most important thing that Tanner was able to accomplish for us was the rake of the car and also the corner balancing. So we found out what the car weighs. We were able to move some of that weight around a little bit, and we actually got it corner balanced really well. So now that he's done and gone, we can move on to the next project.
Okay, I'm gonna be installing a jump terminal for our battery because sometimes when we do need to jump this, which is only happened once because Queen left the keys on.
You know.
You left the key on with the headlights on and then it drained the battery. When the dash is on, you can barely see the battery, and we do have a jump point right there, but we don't have a negative, so it's kind of hard to get it done. So we came up with a solution. Bam, right here. So we'll be able to jump the car from here. According to Quinn, he says the bumper stops here, so all of this is free space.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect space for that, dude.
Yeah, it's already semi-mounted. Just barely bolted down, and then I'm going to start running the wires from here to the alternator and then from there to the chassis for ground, and that should be perfect for us to jump the car or even charge the battery.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so check this out. We have a positive cable and a negative cable. We have one coming from the alternator, which is attached to the starter, which is attached to the battery, and then we have a ground cable that's attached to the block of the engine, which is also goes straight to the battery. So from here we're going to attach both of these things like this. So pretty much going to attach it, bolt them down, and then from there, I will be mounted here, and then we're done. It's that simple. Think about having a battery here and having the jump box here. You're literally going from there to here, and that's it, you're done. So very simple stuff to do, and it makes everything so much easier to get done.
Sick.
That's it, baby.
That's going to be it for R34 content. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And now it's time for us to get this thing off to the track to see what it can do. And if you guys haven't already, get your entries in for our Mitsubishi Eclipse sweepstakes, which is now live. Head on over to Throttle. Every dollar you spend is an automatic entry to win. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video.